Hello and welcome to Words. We have here Team A, PB and CJ.
Hi, we're Team A. I think we should be Team Pellets instead, because we are the Gahooligans alongside other endeavors.
Great. Fantastic. Alongside other endeavors, we have Team B with Marn and Nessa.
Hey.
Hello.
We are Team B, or should we be Team Unalive House Party?
Unalive
right.
House, I think.
Yeah.
And then we have Team C with Jacqueline and Emma.
Hey, does that make us Team Teen Party?
I think just Team Party.
Yeah.
Team Party?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead Teen House Party.
Yeah, check out Dead Teen House Party and the Gahooligans podcast. And me, I'm Juliet Shakespeare. And I've been here for 420 odd years and change. And we are here for words. We're going to get started because this is going to be a really fun block. And we will learn how it works by going through it. Okay, Team A, CJ and PB, Team Pellets. Your word is paradox. Can you tell me, does the word paradox appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does the word paradox have a novel entry in the 21st century?
It has
New
to
entry
be.
to dictionary.
I'm pretty sure it has to be Shakespeare.
There's enough Latin
because
there.
I've studied enough math and logic to know that paradox shows up in like 19th
True.
and 20th century writing, so we have
All
to go
those
all the way.
early calculus people would have needed the word, right? So let's say Shakespeare.
The word could have existed, but it could have a new definition, so a new entry added. So is there a new meaning to this word, or has the dictionary decided that a meaning has been in use long enough and has added it in the 21st century? This is fun.
How long has Doc Martens been around? I'm still leaning Shakespeare here.
I still think Shakespeare.
Great. Of course it's Shakespeare. Of course, in Hamlet, we have, "This was sometime a paradox, but now the time gives it proof. I did love you once." From, of course, Act 3, Scene 1 of Hamlet, in the nunnery scene. Team B, Marn and Nessa, your word is hogsbane. Does the word hogsbane appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a novel dictionary entry in the 21st century?
Marn, this feels like a trick, but my God, if this isn't Shakespeare, I'll eat my hat, and I'm not wearing a hat.
It feels so obviously Shakespeare that I'm wondering if Julia is doing a sort of Joker's trick on us.
But what if it's because they know that it's a thing, that we know, that they know, that it circles all the way back around.
I think I'm okay to lock it in as Shakespeare.
Okay, locking it as Shakespeare. Hogsbane, of course, is a tall perennial herb of the carrot family, Paranthelium mentacatianum, which can reach a height of 15 to 20 feet and produces an irritating sap that causes severe rashes and blistering. This is an entry from 2013 in Merriam-Webster.
Well, you gotta stop touching those carrots.
Your first word is aphantasia. Does this word appear anywhere in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a novel entry in a 21st century dictionary?
My thought is not as 21st century dictionary. I do feel like it's a more... I feel like it's a more like recent description of a thing.
Well, it's been around for longer than that. This is something I had to study as part of my college degree. So I think this one might actually I think this one might actually be Shakespeare, because I don't think the definition would have been updated that recently for aphantasia.
That's fair. I'm happy to go Shakespeare.
Okay. Aphantasia, of course, is the inability to form mental images of real or imaginary people, places, or things, which was an entry in 2015's Merriam-Webster.
Damn, that took Merriam-Webster a while to get on that one. That's been in a lot of papers for a while.
PB and CJ, Team A, can you tell me, does the word greyhound appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or could it have a new 21st century dictionary entry?
See, that is a tough one because it could have a new 21st century. It could just be a bus.
Yeah. It could be, I don't know the word for it, but when a brand name ends up becoming just the word for the thing, like
Kleenex and
refrigerator.
Xerox. Yeah.
Xerox.
Yeah.
Or it could just be the dog.
It could just be the dog. But I feel like 21st century, I don't think Shakespeare was the one naming the dog breeds.
That's true. And we treated dog breeds very differently 400 years ago than we do now.
Like, how big was dog racing in
worse
time?
Than it is now?
So, where are you coming down on greyhound?
I'm feeling 21st century.
I'm feeling, I'll agree. 21st.
Thy wit is as quick as the greyhound's mouth. It catches. Benedict in Much Ado About Nothing.
That's not what I feel like is quick about a greyhound most of the time.
'Tis true, 'tis true, 'tis pity, 'tis true. Marn and Nessa, can you tell me, does the word demure appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a new entry in the 21st century?
They didn't put one in for when that TikTok sound was going around, right?
That was my
they?
thought, but I think that was too recent for them to have put it in, like it feels like.
Yeah. I mean, they were trying to get those X points, but I'm throwing my hat Shakespeare. Also, of course, this is the segment that my mom decides to join, and her mother was a Shakespearean English teacher.
Awesome.
I will say, if you
have your family, Nessa.
If you ever think that an online trend is too recent, I will remind everyone that it is 2025, and a lot of things that feel extremely recent happened in 2019 or 2020.
That is true. I mean, I do happen to know that like the like word of the year last year was raw dog. So
sure, like they did at the Vatican.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm okay to say this was Shakespeare. I believe it.
Great. You're correct. Never none of these demure boys to any proof, for thin drink doth so overcool their blood, making many fish meals, that they fall into a kind of male green sickness. And then, when they marry, they get wenches. Falstaff, Henry IV, Part 2.
See, I knew that, Julia, because in 2020, the girl who invented demure was busy making Monster High content, and I was there.
So that is a point for Team B. Glad to get some points on the board. Okay, so Team C, your word is unfriend.
That's got to be 21st century.
Yeah, I'll say 21st century. I think
you
this.
Think so?
Unfriended was a hit horror movie, and
that's what I thought exactly.
We have to go with that.
We should watch that for the podcast.
We should.
Yeah.
Shakespeare did, of course, coin a lot of words by turning nouns into verbs or adding a prefix or suffix to them. But you are, of course, correct that unfriend, to remove someone from a list of designated friends on a person's social networking website, came to us in 2003's Merriam-Webster.
That feels so early.
So that's going to be a point for Team C. And we are back to Team A. Can you tell me, does the word goated appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare?
What do you think?
How many times in Shakespeare, roughly, do we talk about the devil?
That's true.
And
That's
in
true.
what manner?
Like, my first instinct is both. But I know this is an exclusive or.
Well, and this is specifically as an adjective, too. This is the adjective goated.
Oh!
Which I would feel like is 21st century.
Yeah. I feel like 21st century, the adjective is the trick there.
Sure. And you are, of course, correct. Goated, considered to be the greatest of all time, came to us Merriam-Webster 2017. Team B, your word is misgovernment.
This feels very Shakespeare to me.
It does. And it doesn't feel like a trick or a trap.
Yeah.
It doesn't? Okay.
Julia playing crazy mind games with us.
Because famously, in the 21st century, government's just been like flying colors the whole time, right?
Yeah,
There's
but
been...
I don't think, like, I don't know. This feels distinctly not a 21st century dictionary entry to me.
Yeah, Merriam-Webster should have been on that. That guy that was in the psych ward writing that stuff should have been figuring it out years ago.
Locked in for Shakespeare?
Yeah.
Of course, you're correct. There's not chastity enough in language without offence to utter them. Thus, pretty lady, I am sorry for thy much misgovernment. Of course, from Don John, from Much Ado About Nothing, who I think we are finding in the 21st century at least, maybe is right about more things than the play sets up. So that is going to be a point for Team B. Team C, your word is Tennessee.
More like
It's gonna be
Tennessee.
really funny if this is like a recent word about relating to Tennessee.
Yeah, it's a recent word related to the phenomena of being the only tin that you've seen.
Yeah, there is
Uh-huh.
there is something about it. Maybe I'm also getting looped up into Juliet's mind games now.
Uh-huh.
Where it has the
Bark.
almost like kind of asinine vibes.
Yeah, I don't
But
hate
I
saying
think it-
21st century.
I think it could be 21st century.
So you're
Let's
saying
lock it
yes to
in.
21st century? Locking
Yeah.
it in? You're correct. Tennessine is a short-lived artificially produced radioactive element that has 117 protons. Came
So
to
it was
us-
probably discovered in Tennessee, which is why it's
Mhm.
called Tennessine, because that's how they name every new element.
Came to us in 2016 from Merriam-Webster. All right, so that is a point for the Jacqueline Emma Team C. Team A, we're back to you with man-child. Does man-child
Shakespeare.
as a
Shakespeare
noun
all the
show
way.
up in Shakespeare, or do we have a new definition for it in the 21st century?
Man, children are the backbone, foundational to Shakespearean work.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's enough of an insult, like it feels like a Shakespearean insult. So maybe it's a trick, but yeah, no, Shakespeare.
Too late.
You are
We're already
correct,
correct.
but not an insult. You are totally correct. That is a point for Team A. To a cruel war I sent him, from whence he returned, his brows bound with oak. I tell thee, daughter, I sprang not more in joy at first hearing he was a man-child, than now in first seeing he had proved himself a man. From Coriolanus. Congratulations to Team A. Team B, your word is Malmsey. Does this word appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare or a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Marnsey. Marn. We've gotten too many Shakespeares in a row, and it's making me nervous.
Uh-huh.
But also, this is such a nonsense word that
Yeah.
I feel like we should have heard about by now.
Yeah, and like Nessa, I am a little bit relying on you to know if a word is like a TikTok word.
This is not a TikTok word.
Okay, yeah.
By
Not
God.
yet.
No, if it
Not
was
yet.
like if it was like a Twitter 2015 word, then
Sure.
I don't know. But
I think it's Shakespeare.
You going Shakespeare?
Shakespeare. Come on.
Congratulations! Hey then,
Yeah.
to trays if you grow so nice. Metheglin, Wharton, Malmsey, well-run dice. There's half a dozen sweets from Love's Labour's Lost. That's a point for Team B. Team C, your word is moonshine.
So it definitely does get a later definition, but that's going to be pre-21st century. So I want to
Yeah.
say Shakespeare.
I'll say Shakespeare.
Okay. So there are also words that are used all throughout the 20th century that for some reason they just don't put in the dictionary until surprisingly late. That happens sometimes, but of course you're right. Moonshine, you demi-puppets that by moonshine do the green sour ringlets make, whereof the you not bites, and you whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the solemn curfew from The Tempest. That's a point for Team C. Team A, your word is moonshines.
Ah, fuck.
So rude.
Got him.
CJ
I
and
feel like
Phoebe,
this has
does
to
this
be the
word
double fake out. This has
Where
to
we
be
go,
Shakespeare.
we go Shakespeare again,
Uh-huh.
just to win on the catch out that Juliet's setting up.
What would be the new entry in the 21st century for moonshines, plural?
Plural. Multiple alcohols?
Yeah, but why would that get added from the dictionary, like, new? Like, they usually don't feel the need to add plurals if it's just...
Moonshines. Or like speakeasy type joints? Is that another word for that?
Has that shown up in the 21st century? I think it has to be Shakespeare again, and if we fell for your trick, we fell for your trick.
Fair enough. Let's do it.
You are correct, of course. For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why bastard? Wherefore base? From King Lear. So totally different meaning from moonshine's not the plural of moonshine in this case. That is a point for Team A. Team B, your word is minikin.
Marn, I know.
Massive.
I don't know if this is a Shakespeare or a TikTok word, but I'm leaning towards 21st century nonsense.
I'm also leaning towards 21st century nonsense.
We need to catch up, so I really hope I didn't just F us.
What do you think it
believe.
means?
I feel like it's like a Shopkin, but something else, or like a mini Birkin.
Jealousy, Professor. You are, of course, correct. A minikin is a young
Let's
girl or
go.
woman, usually as a term of endearment. Also, a minion, a favorite. Obsolete. We can't say minion anymore. So we've got
Doodle woke.
minikin now. And we are moving from Merriam-Webster to the Oxford English Dictionary. So get ready for all those lovely things. This is in the OED in 2002. So that's going to be a point for Team B. Team C, your word is defriend.
So unfriended was 21st. We think of this one's
Yeah, when it comes to be like, I feel like Shakespeare could have verbed this. You know, I think that people were
Yeah.
doing some defriending in
It is
Shakespeare.
not like the phrasing you think of with more modern English.
No, it's possible, but I am feeling Shakespeare.
Yeah.
Okay, locking in for Shakespeare. Let's see. I'm afraid no. To remove someone from a list of designated friends on a social networking website, Merriam-Webster 2004.
Juliet's
Ah.
trick.
Done
Julia
some-
just did the
trick.
same trick twice, and it worked
know.
the second time.
You
It's
cur.
it's all part of a larger scheme.
You
on my-
bugbear, Juliet.
CJ and PB, can you tell me, does the word madwoman appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or is it a 21st century dictionary entry?
I'm wondering whether the hyphen is there to mess
Nobody
us up.
knows how to use a hyphen properly nowadays.
true.
Nobody uses them properly.
Does that make you think that this is 21st century? Even
Do you know
though
who loved hyphens?
Shakespeare?
Shakespeare, all the time.
But would he have hyphenated it or made it a single word?
That man hyphenated words that didn't need hyphenations. That man used hyphens to connect whole sentences at times. I think it's a
That is
Shakespeare.
true.
Are you telling me that someone would use misogynist language in a Shakespeare play?
Never.
Locking in for Shakespeare, you're of
Yeah.
course correct. And if your wife be not a madwoman, and know how well I have deserved the ring, she would not hold out enemy forever for giving it to me. Portia from the Merchant of Venice. That is a point for Team A. Team B, your word is Master of the Feast.
That's really 4 words, Juliet.
Mhm.
Merriam-Webster,
Darn.
can we get a definition of word, please?
Yeah, Nessa.
I got nothing. I'm assuming it's a guy who's in charge of the feast.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Shakespeare. I
Yeah.
don't know why this would be a 21st century turn of phrase.
If they did,
Great.
Merriam-Webster dropped the ball.
Locking in for Shakespeare. I'm afraid Master of the Feast is a person
No
who presides
way.
over or hosts the feast, entering the Oxford English Dictionary in 2001.
Oxford, you cucks.
We really needed that.
What are you doing?
It's British. That doesn't count. British
Uh-huh,
people aren't
uh-huh.
real.
So now I'm going to suggest to you that you should consider Britishisms both Shakespeareized and non.
This is like when my sister failed her French test because the teacher had written the entire test in British shit, and she was like, I don't know what a till assistant is, so I can't tell you what the French version of till assistant is.
Oh, yeah. You know, after maths, we have to go out to do sport. Team C, your word is Master Sergeant.
So do we think this is Juliet's trick again?
I
Okay,
my
think about
vi-
it. Does this appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or is there a new dictionary entry for this in the 21st century?
I don't think there would be a 21st century new. I think
Yeah.
I think there might be a 20th century dictionary
That's-
entry.
That's
Maybe
what
a
I said about
Yeah.
Master of the Feast, and
I feel like I feel like England hasn't had a fresh enough new war
Yeah,
to throw something in the 21st century.
yeah.
Sure.
They're just making up titles over there. I'll throw it to Shakespeare. I think.
Throwing it to Shakespeare. I'm afraid a master sergeant is a high rank of NCO in the U.S. Armed Forces, in the Army above sergeant first class and below sergeant major, in the Air Force above technical sergeant and below senior master sergeant, in the Marine Corps above gunnery sergeant and below master gunnery sergeant. Oxford English Dictionary, 2001.
No,
Oxford
so you
what?
shouldn't be considering 2001 because that was before everything changed.
Yeah, hold on a second. Also,
Yeah.
Jacqueline, this reflects well on us because it means we don't know things about the military.
That's right. That's right.
fine.
Fair
Oxford,
enough.
what were you doing in 1999? Preparing
Yeah.
for Y2K? Get your shit together.
Ah,
Why
great.
is Oxford putting definitions of a U.S. Army levels?
It's the OED. You know how it works. Team A, CJ and PB, can you tell me, does the word madman appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
We met a Juliet.
Uh-huh.
The last 3 question mark times that this has happened, it's always been that the second thing is the
been
first is the first one.
It's the obvious answer. Like, yes, of course it's
Mhm.
the same. How long does the bit keep going is the question.
This is the 3rd time by my count. And bits always come in 3s, which means we have to double down and say it's still Shakespeare this time,
All
right?
I mean, usually
You're
the third would
confident.
be a punchline, but yeah, I feel like it has to be Shakespeare.
This is the yeah.
We've never done anything like with the rule of 3s in
Yeah,
things.
no.
And
Never.
neither does Shakespeare either. He would never say something like words, 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 anything like that.
No, never.
Yeah. And you're, of course, correct. Obviously.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not taking
Not
this
mad,
out.
but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and Romeo from Romeo and Juliet, actually.
Of course it was Romeo.
That's a point for Team A.
We don't need to know anything about Shakespeare. We just need to meta Juliet the whole time.
This is how I
hey.
passed all of my tests in high school.
Mm-hmm. Team B.
Learning the test meta.
Marn and Nessa, can you tell me, does the word ringmastering appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or is there a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Martin, I'm going to
This-
leave the vibes up to you because I've guessed wrong the last 2 times.
This feels 21st century to me.
I'll second that. Let's go.
You don't think Prospero talking about all the different things he's doing on the island is talking about ringmastering?
No, I'm sure he does say that. I'm just sure that Oxford's big book of little words somehow didn't have that shit in there before 2001.
Now, hold on. Okay, hold on. I think noun is the key here.
Uh-huh.
Because it's not a verb.
Mm-hmm.
And that might make it Shakespeare to me.
All right, Martin, like I said, I'm going off your vibes even though I just did a whole thing.
Oh, all right. I'll say Shakespeare.
You're saying Shakespeare for ringmastering.
I think because it's a noun.
I'm
Damn
afraid
it.
the work of a ringmaster, the action of directing or managing something as or in the manner of a ringmaster, 2010 in the Oxford English Dictionary.
Can I just say, excellent ringmastering so far, Juliet.
Thank you. I think this mostly is an entry because of its rise in like office culture, business parlance.
Oh, interesting. I
Like,
can see that.
go talk to Sal over in marketing or over in the Newark branch. She's going to be ringmastering this, in the same way that people talk about like Scrum and Agile and 100 other different words for various things.
I did not know that was how we used remastering.
All right. So coming to Jacqueline and Emma, Team C, can you tell me, does the word magnificent appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
So it definitely appears, but does it have a novel entry is the question here.
No, it doesn't. I'm putting my foot down. It's just in Shakespeare. There's no
It's just in
novel that.
Yeah. Yeah, it all comes together for this. A critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant, or the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent.
We're so back.
Back to Love's
We're so
Labour's
back.
Lost. I didn't know
Jacqueline, we're
if
in
that
this.
being so obvious could be a double, like a don't trust yourself, because you never know. Wait a minute, yeah, they didn't have magnificent until the 17th century for some reason. Like you never
Yeah.
know.
Whereas
Yeah.
that's one that I recognized.
So that's going to be a point for Team C. Team A, your word is remuneration.
Remuneration. In my head, I always thought that word was remuneration.
I did too,
Mhm.
and I read that the first time I read this word and then got confused.
But maybe I was just misreading the word every time because it's not a word I don't know if I've heard said as much as read, you know?
So
Remuneration.
remuneration would probably be if you were going through a list and renumbering it. That's not what this is.
Yeah. Which I think I've seen this word before and just read it as remuneration instead. What are you feeling, CJ?
Oh, jeez.
Mhm.
When in doubt, say Shakespeare did it, right?
I guess so. Yeah, sure. Say Shakespeare did it.
Sure. I just want to, just for fun, I want to hear what the other two teams would think about this word. Anybody have like strong vibes one way or another?
It's gonna
21st
be
century.
some bullshit about like nostalgia and reminiscing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you think it's a novel definition, or
I think there could be.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm with Nessa. I think it's 21st century.
so? Of course, remuneration. The muna comes from money. Being an econ hist nut, I'm a fan of remuneration. Talks about like paying back. There is remuneration for the best word of mine. Honors rewarding my dependents. This is a point that goes to CJ and PB. Remuneration appears 17 times in the play Love's Labour's Lost.
Good.
This is why no one knows. That's why there's not a teen remake of Love's Labour's Lost. Not a high school setting.
You gotta value those high syllable words when you're writing in pentameter.
Yeah. True.
Fair.
But yeah, whenever you're thinking about giving someone money, it can be a type of remuneration. Our next word is for Marn and Nessa. It's multiply.
So, Juliet, as you know, myself, Marn, Jacqueline, and Emma are all on the same podcast, so we get to add our scores together against the hooligans, right?
I should actually look at what the scores are.
Yeah, what are our
Oh wow!
scores?
Oh wow!
I'll
That
tell
is
you
not-
this: we're not doing good.
that is not what I necessarily expected. This is very fun. So, do you
Necessarily.
think the word multiply shows up in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or do we have a novel dictionary entry for it in the 21st
Marn?
century?
It's got to be Shakespeare. I swear to God, if the
Yeah,
dictionary
like
did not have the word multiply before
Yeah, there's-
It could have
2000,
it could have multiply. It could have a new. It could be like, oh, this is the fourth definition for multiply, or the sixth.
I don't think so though. Like multiply is multiply, right?
I mean, maybe they were just so prudish they never put like the rabbit version of multiply in the dictionary before 2000.
Oh, so it's going to be the Oxford English Dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nah, I think it's Shakespeare.
Okay, Shakespeare.
Another Shakespeare?
Come on. Come on.
Of course.
Yes.
Yet standing in rich place, I multiply with one. We thank you. Many thousands mow that go before it. In The Winter's Tale. That is a point for Marn and Nessa. Jacqueline and Emma, your word is Ganymede.
It is Shakespeare, but it should have a new definition because of the by smudge.
Yeah. The celestial body?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will say these are going to be one or the other.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm thinking, well, wait. That wouldn't be that new.
So are you saying that if it has a new one, it's never been in Shakespeare? Is that what we're saying, Juliet?
Yes, yeah. I mean, because I did choose the words for.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Then it's
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
It's Shakespeare then.
Yeah, great job. I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore, look, you call me Ganymede, as you like it.
Thank you for the
Rosalind is
clarification there.
Yeah. Rosalind, I believe, is called Ganymede multiple times over the course of as you like it. As a
Yeah, it is
pseudonym.
essentially her disguise name.
All right. That is a point for Jacqueline and Emma. Coming back to CJ and PV, can you tell me, does the word humbleness appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel dictionary entry in the 21st century?
Why would it get a new entry is always my question.
Yeah.
Because I guess the question is like humility is the word that you'd use more likely than humbleness. So is this a Shakespeare invention? Or is this just people not knowing the word humility?
I could totally see a character coming up and doing the "I come before you in my humbleness," being like, "Look, I'm dressed in rags and whatnot." That's a classic Shakespeare move.
I'm just getting freaked out at how many Shakespeares we've gotten now.
Too bad, Shakespeare.
All right, Shakespeare it is.
Shakespeare, of course. All humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all obedience. Another as you like it. That's a point for CJ and PB. Martin and Nessa, can you tell me, does the word umpire appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Nessa, I think this is 21st century. I know in my mind that like baseball existed before
and was incredibly popular. Juliet, if I guess that it is the Oxford Dictionary again correctly, do I get a bonus point?
I'll consider it. Yeah.
All right. Modern and it's Oxford again, those bastards.
Yeah, naturally. But now the arbitrator of despairs, just
No
death, kind
way.
umpire of men's miseries. Henry, this is part of what it is very Oxford English Dictionary, I will say.
Mom, did you learn nothing from the baseball episode of Interstitial Infinity where I kept correcting when baseball started?
Well, I thought it was a
knew
British
the
thing.
baseball
Like, it
started
didn't
really
respect
early,
us.
but I was like, yeah, I was like not like British, like the British weren't into that.
I do like this quote because it's like, oh, just death, but it's like just death. Like, hey, the one thing that treats the rich people and the poor people the same. The arbitrator,
A baseball
of despairs.
referee.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot I literally went and Googled this. It's called an umpire in cricket, too.
Oh, that makes sense.
I've played cricket. If I remember that, I would have fought you on it, Marn.
Jacqueline and Emma, your word is zone.
I think this could have a novel 21st century.
I think it's Shakespeare.
Do you think what about like getting in the zone? And like is it possible that was like
I think that could be, but given Juliet's earlier clarification.
Yeah, but what if he just never said it? What if he just never said it?
I feel like it's in there.
Does Hamlet say, I'm getting in the zone? Or do we have perhaps, you also have to think about a big thing in the 21st century is the internet and a lot of different words filtering in through like digital interfaces into things.
Yeah, but I don't like that you're giving a clarification, so I'm going to side with Emma and say Shakespeare.
Yes, naturally it's Shakespeare. Let them throw millions of acres on us till our ground singeing his pate against the burning zone. That's Hamlet.
Is now a fair or unfair time to let everybody know that I literally worked at Chesapeake Shakespeare Company for a bit?
Well, that's a point for Jacqueline and Emma for Team C. Team A, your word is mustard.
Okay,
does the word mustard appear in the complete works of Shakespeare?
Mustard was huge, though.
Yeah.
Like, when you have no spices and you're poor, what do you have?
That's what you put on the thing. Yeah, I feel like, let's see, can we think of any new definitions for mustard? Like, yeah, put some mustard on it to, like, spice something up. But I feel like that goes earlier than 21st century.
Mustard! That's a new definition.
You're right, that is a new definition. I don't know if it would have made it to the Oxford Dictionary, though.
That's fair.
I feel like Shakespeare.
I feel like all of our answers have been Shakespeare, and we should just stick with that.
Yep.
Make it work.
Naturally. Why then the beef and let the mustard rest. Taming of the Shrew, that's another point for CJ and PB.
Yeah, how else do you tenderize the meat?
With hammers, I think. Marna and Nessa, your word is Mexico.
Awesome.
The fact that Emma is laughing makes me think that this is Shakespeare.
A new meta has emerged.
Metagame me and Juliet.
Yes, we can.
One.
Shakespeare, of course, was writing in the late 1500s and early 1600s, if that's helpful.
It could also be some nonsense, like New York, where we just went over there and were like, guess what? You're Mexico now. And people were like, what language are you speaking?
Mm-hmm. It could also be like Ohio, where, new definition.
Yeah, like are the children using Mexico as a TikTok term these days?
Oh, I'm sure.
Or
I hope not.
Is the OED really bad at putting things in? It's like, yeah, Latin America, we wanted to figure out whether the Pope decides things should work there or not. And
that would be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Marn, what do you feel like? I'll back you up.
Oh, I feel like the last 2 times you've done that, I got it wrong, though.
All right, then I'm making the decision. Well, also, I made the decision last time and it went horribly, but I'm great at making bold decisions. Shakespeare! Show me Shakespeare!
Let's go!
Yes!
Naturally, he hath a third at Mexico, a fourth for England, and other ventures he hath squandered abroad. That's Merchant of Venice. That's a point for Marn and Nessa. Jacqueline and Emma, your word is mathematize.
Mathematize.
Ooh.
Mathematize.
It's a verb. Does it show up in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
First added in the dictionary after being introduced in the show Adventure Time.
That's literally my concern. Is it one of those words that gets added because people are just saying it?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
I don't hate it, but I also don't love it.
That's fair.
Because I feel like it could also be very Shakespeare.
I don't know.
It's Shakespeare. Let's use the PB and CJ strat.
Okay, let's Shakespeare.
Yeah, because Shakespeare, again, really liked to do the noun into verb thing, the verb into noun thing. To reason mathematically, to perform mathematical calculations, to adopt a mathematical approach. That's the Oxford English Dictionary in 2001.
Sick of 2001.
In 2001.
Was this dictionary founded in 2001?
Yeah, hold on a second.
Yeah, the OED famously only a 21st century creation.
Yep.
It started in 2001, actually.
So let's take a second to look at the scores. So looks like Team A, we've got 9 points. Team B, we've got 5. And Team C, we've got 7. And I would like to shout out, we've got donations possible. If you check out, if you do ! Donate in the chat, you can look at our Tiltify, and we have a theme week poll that you can vote for right now. We definitely have hit that. We're trying to hit our next big, our stretch goal, but you can vote for Night Week, Princess Week, Magic Week, and Monster Week, which in a sense, Shakespeare wrote about all 4 of those things. Just want to shout that out. Monster Week is just ahead of Princess Week right now, but donations can go towards that. And of course, all of the donations are to Advocates for Trans Equality, which is who we are raising money for this weekend. How's everybody feeling?
If you want to hear us do a table read of Titus Andronicus, keep it at Monster Week.
You know,
hold on now.
We'll see. We'll see.
I'm feeling great. My co-host here has kind of just locked us into the winning strat.
Meta Juliet, choose Shakespeare.
It's okay. Jacqueline, we can come back from this.
We got this.
I believe in you. Marna, Nessa, how you feeling?
I feel like we're back in the game a little bit.
We can come back from this, surely.
Totally.
We can at least take second, I hope.
CJ and PB, your word is
Marn, we're a part of them. If Jacqueline and Emma win, then we win by default.
That's true. Dead Teen House Party versus Gahooligans.
Every time we come onto a thing, we get some sort of penalty.
Can't help it that we're good.
I
CJ
don't
and
think
PB,
us being married helps here.
It does not.
your word is maidenliest.
We're following the meta.
All right, Shakespeare. I'm going to follow my co-host. Shakespeare, all the way.
If this was a 21st century dictionary entry, what do you think it would mean?
It's something that came out of the Elden Ring fandom of like people pushing back against. Well, yeah, you're maidenless, but I'm the maidenliest.
Got more
And
grapes
of
than you.
course,
Yeah.
of course. I should have been that I am, had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. That's King Lear. That's another point for CJ and PB. Next up, Martinessa, your word is mustachio.
This one is hard. Because it does seem like some nonsense that he would come up with. But also it does seem like something that the dictionary wouldn't add until like 2007.
Yeah.
Do we all remember in 2007 the big mustache craze?
Yes. Epic bacon mustache.
You
of
get me,
course.
Nessa.
Exactly.
Thank God I wasn't old enough to get tattoos.
The wonders
I say
of
that
small
there
mercies.
was a girl in my 9th grade class who had like full body art, and I don't know who allowed her to have that.
Oh my god. I don't know, Nessa. I feel like Shakespeare. Like,
You know what? We're staying with the Gahooligans' style, their flavor, their heat. Show me Shakespeare!
I am joined with
Yes!
no footland
Let's
breakers, no
go.
longstaff sixpenny strikers, none of these mad mustachio purple-hued maltworms. Henry IV Part 1. That's a point for Marn and Nessa. God,
I'm sorry, I have like classroom bingo energy about this.
We all do. My parents also do. They're texting me.
I love none of these mad mustachio purple-hued maltworms. Like, you know, everybody's got the I bite my thumb at the sort of stuff, but like bring this out in the middle of an argument and you clown on them,
Yeah.
they don't understand, it works out.
Sound off in chat if you're a mad mustachio purple-hued maltworm.
If a
Tag yourself
purple-hued
in Caroline.
maltworm is
Insults are
not
so
a classic
good.
Shakespearean euphemism, then I don't know what is.
Mhm.
And not just
At
a
the Shakespeare
maltworm.
camp I went to when I was like a kid. I went every summer for years, and part of Shakespeare camp is we would have a Shakespearean insult competition day where they gave us a
Sure.
list
God.
of different elements of Shakespearean insults, and we tried to put together the best ones to hurl at each other.
Very good.
So Jacqueline and Emma, can you tell me, is Quirk a word in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
I want to say Shakespeare.
I'll say Shakespeare.
Naturally, no! A mound of stones piled high is a landmark,
2025!
usually on a hill or mountaintop or other exposed area, a cairn, which came to us in the Oxford English Dictionary in the year of our Lord, 2025!
Hello? Hello? Juliet, what month? I don't know this word.
Doing the research for this block is just like a wild time on its own because you desensitize yourself to how weird words are as you're going through them. But this one was a wonderful little find. CJ and PB.
Ape.
But not the verb ape, not to ape, which
Yes.
Is
I'm almost
there-
positive he used.
I'm sure there's at least 2 or 3 ape in Shakespeare.
Or is there a novel 21st century dictionary entry for the word ape?
As a noun?
Mm-hmm.
I could see it from like, but this is Oxford English culture. They're only getting Curric in there just now. Are they really getting anything from like modern meme culture? I'm thinking specifically of like meme stock people who would like take
Oh
Planet
no,
of
my
the Apes
apes.
stuff.
Are we talking like
All
NFT
my apes
apes
gone.
Yeah,
Like
My
uh-huh.
apes gone.
Ape
All
strong
my
together.
apes gone.
Together
God.
strong. Oh god.
But I feel like you're going to tell me no. We just have to do Shakespeare again.
Well, we can break meta, but you have to say, CJ, we're breaking meta.
Yeah, okay, let's break meta just once and see what happens. Let's go 21st century.
Let's break meta just once and see what happens naturally. He keeps them like an ape in the corner of his jaw.
Never
First
break
mouth
meta.
to be last swallowed. That's Hamlet in Hamlet.
The ape is not the first animal I think of that, like, hangs onto food in its mouth.
It's kind of wild that that's the poll, but Hamlet's going through a hard time. That, of course, is him talking to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern about the use that they will take all of the words and ideas and truth that Hamlet has and soak them up. And then Claudius will squeeze them like a sponge, like an ape does with sponges, famously.
Yeah.
Martinessa, your word is mermaid-like.
Marn.
Nessa.
This costume is
This
so
has
hot,
to be
by the way.
Shakespeare.
I feel like it. Yeah, I think you're right.
It just, I mean, if the dictionary, we can't just be saying like, being like, skull like. That's my new definition. What are we, German? You can't just make up a word and put it in the dictionary. Shakespeare.
Show me Shakespeare, her clothes spread wide and mermaid-like, a while they bore her up.
Oh, sure.
That's Gertrude in Hamlet.
Hell yeah, Gertrude.
That's going to be a point for Marn and Nessa. Jacqueline and Emma, your word is T-Rex. Does this word show up in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
I'm so scared. It has to have a new entry.
Yeah, I'm gonna say new entry.
It has
Are you
to.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
What do you think it means?
I don't know, and I'm scared to find out.
I don't know.
Maybe
It's
when
just
they added feathers, they added a new definition.
Maybe.
Sure.
Oh,
I'm also, this is another one I'm going to CJPB, Marnessa, what do you think?
So the English mother of paleontology, Mary What's-Her-Face, she came later. I'm like 80% on that. And before that, there was like the group of paleontologists made of English men, and they had all of the names wrong because they had all of the bones wrong.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Counterpoint. Did Shakespeare forget to put a space after a period?
He would have hyphenate that.
Oh, yeah, but
that
like,
would have been hyphenated.
Did Juliet just take 5 characters in a row from Shakespeare?
Marnessa?
21st, Martin,
I
21st
think,
century.
yeah, 21st.
Standing with our
Naturally, you're all
co-host.
correct. The only species of the genus Tyrannosaurus, a large bipedal dinosaur of the same name known from fossil remains found in North America. Also, figurative.
2023? I'm
I
mad
like
about
throwing
it every
in-
time.
Oxford
I'm guessing
Dictionary.
they added the also figurative. In
So
23.
funny.
So the answer is
I
Tyrannosaurus
think-
Rex had its own dictionary entry. T-Rex is a new entry that only
Okay.
to be in 2023 as a separate thing, which I
Okay.
Makes sense.
very charming. I didn't know. I know many things, and I didn't know that the T-Rex was the fossil remains specifically found in North America.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2023, and that is a point. That was a point to Jacqueline and Emma, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Which brings us back to CJ and PB. Can you tell me? Does the word
Meter.
Me?
Not meter.
Show up in the complete-
Meter.
This is
Uh-huh.
one of those
Complete works
words
of William
that
Shakespeare.
I play in Scrabble against CJ, and we have to go and check the Scrabble dictionary to see if this is actually a word that they'll accept.
Mhm. Sure. Naturally. What do you think?
Are we doing plays on like how Shakespeare actually spelled things?
Or
that what
this
we're
is
doing
the
now?
person who meets.
Well, no.
Can you think of a context
The meter at the
in the 21st
at the
century
gates.
where, can you think of an institution that might have these people?
Like there's
Walmart?
greeters. There's greeters, but that's not meters. I don't know. Do we just go back to Shakespeare?
Follow the meta.
All right, Shakespeare.
Naturally,
I think
Shakespeare,
I
you
would-
cannot revel into dukedoms there. He therefore sends you meter for your spirit, this ton of treasure. First ambassador in Henry V. That's a point for CJ and PB. Marna Nessa, your word is monopoly. Not to be confused with monopsony, of course.
Nessa, do we
word.
think they had to update the dictionary because of the board game?
How old do you think the board game is?
It's
It was
from
from a
the
while ago, but I'm sure the British people were like, oh, what? A game? Never heard of such a
I
thing.
will say
I have a
I know too much about the history of Monopoly the game, so I'm gonna hold my fucking tongue.
That is true. Monopoly
Yes,
is
there's
a
a-
pre-21st century invention.
There's a fun fact I want to share after you guess. I'm sure Emma already knows.
I do think she was like Irish or something.
Yeah. Like it's a pre-21st century invention, but would they have updated it in the 21st century? I feel like Shakespeare.
I'll go Shakespeare.
And naturally, of course, this is, pulling from easy Greek. And even though Shakespeare had little Latin and less Greek, if I had a
Yes!
monopoly,
God.
they would have part on it. And ladies too, they will not let me have all the fool to myself. They'll be snatching. That's King Lear. That's a point for Marn and Nessa. Jacqueline and Emma, your word is metaphysics.
Awesome.
Good.
Does the word
Sick.
metaphysics appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or does it have a 21st century novel dictionary entry?
Let's go novel dictionary entry.
I don't know though.
You don't know?
Yeah.
You are wise. So
Sometimes, not always.
I
But
don't know. I don't know. I want to say novel entry. That's really my feeling.
Oh, I don't know if it is though.
That's fair. That's
Ah,
really fair. But do you know that it isn't?
I don't know that it isn't, but I am leaning more towards Shakespeare.
Okay. I'll follow you. I'll follow you into Shakespeare.
Follow
if
us
I'm
into
wrong-
Shakespeare. Practice rhetoric in your common
knew it.
talk. Music and poesy used to quicken you. The mathematics and the metaphysics fall to them as you find your stomach serves you.
I
Taming
knew it
English
was
Show,
in there
that's a point.
somewhere. I knew it.
Classic Taming English Show.
That's a point for Team C. Marn, can you confirm for me that we still have that this block ends at 6 and not in
Yes,
7
yes.
minutes? Okay, great. Great, fantastic. So that's a point for Jacqueline and Emma. PB and CG, can you tell me, does the word mermaid's tresses appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
That's a plant.
Yeah, that's a plant.
That's a plant. I'm breaking meta. I think that's a plant.
All right. It could also be like a new hair trend.
No, that's too literal.
All right, yeah, sure. So it's a plant, so it's 21st century?
I think it is.
I mean,
I
this
feel
is
like
the
I've
first time
heard
that
this one
you've
before.
broken meta, so yes, absolutely.
Oh, I'm allowed to break meta and you're not?
Oh, I already
That's
did.
handy.
So, are you sure?
Yes.
No,
Final
but
answer.
let's do it.
You gotta be confident.
Any of several filamentous algae, especially freshwater
Yeah!
species of the genus
Whoa,
Sciogyra
DJ.
and marine species of the genera Cladophora and Corda, Oxford English Dictionary 2001.
It's a
Wow.
plant.
I wonder if a
Busy
botanist
year
got
for
into the.
Oxford English Dictionary.
I wonder if a botanist got into the rooms while they were working on the 2001 edition.
Let's see here. Okay, Martinessa, your word is loose cannon.
Oh, Nessa, this could be either one.
It really could. It does seem like some Shakespeare bullshit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like maybe one of those Shakespeare terms that like we got from Shakespeare and it's just like carried forward as slang.
Yeah, I don't know. Lauren, what are you feeling? I'll lean more towards that whatever way, but I do feel like it's something that like some guy would say to Othello or something.
Yeah, I am kind of feeling Shakespeare.
So we're thinking Shakespeare for loose cannon?
Yeah.
Show me Shakespeare.
An unpredictable
Damn it.
or uncontrollable person or thing, especially considered liable to cause unintentional or indiscriminate damage. Oxford English Dictionary 2001. This one surprised me. I was like, really? 2001? Loose cannon? We haven't been using that for, as long as we've had cannons on ships? Pretty wild time.
What was going on in 2001 at the Oxford English Dictionary?
Andrew sent a chat message earlier that was like, the towers fell, and some guy was like, we gotta write down all the words.
I think another thing that we will find is this is a thing I find in studying the year 1894 in particular, which is if you look at all of the like literary works and nonfiction works written in the year 1894, it's like, wow, this is a perfect like microcosm of the present. All of these things changed here. All of these things were added here. Like the world was on this perfect hinge. But like that's true of lots of years. Like most years, if you look at them, it's like, what were they doing then? Obviously, 2001 also had some other changes. But Jacqueline and Emma, can you tell me, cuttingness, does this appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
As a noun, cuttingness, I can see this being in Shakespeare.
I think it might be Shakespeare. I'm trying to think what it could be if it is more novel. Cuttingness.
The thing that haunts me in this game is that I know sometimes there's just a word that's around, but they don't put it in the damn dictionary for a while, and maybe Shakespeare just never said it. But people are always talking about their cutting wits, and like in Shakespeare, right? So maybe.
Yeah, let's go Shakespeare.
Yeah.
This is the perfect style of a Shakespeare word. Again, you're taking cutting and turning it into, the wit with all its cuttingness. But it's the quality of being sarcastic, acerbic, or uncomfortably incisive, especially in speech or writing. Came to us in 2024, Oxford English Dictionary.
Yeah, damn.
You can believe it. It's 2024 once again.
It's these recent ones that are getting us, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
We don't know what happens after 2001.
No.
Tis true, tis pity, tis true. PB and CJ, can you tell me texture? Does it appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? I have another new novel, 21st century dictionary entry.
And just double checking, this is the spelling we're going with, yeah?
This is the spelling.
It's probably some French stuff going on here.
The French would involve less E's? I don't know a lot of French, but I feel like...
Texture.
Like, texture, the word, like, is this just a Shakespearean spelling of it? Or is this...
If we're going for Shakespearean spellings, all of these are wrong.
That's true. Yeah, depend on, whoever's... Yeah. I still feel Shakespeare, just because I can't think of the 21st century...
Usage.
Uh-huh.
PB says stick with the meta.
Yeah, Shakespeare.
Great. Sticking with the meta. Any of a group of typefaces first used in the earliest printed books, distinguished by narrow angular letters with the curved portions formed from short straight strokes and a strong vertical emphasis. It comes to us in 2024's Oxford English Dictionary.
You took a class on printing.
Not in 2024.
That's true.
The typefaces first used in the earliest printed books. Thanks, 2024 OED.
Uh-huh.
Our next word for Moonaissance is texturizing.
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Awesome.
It's like... It feels like a word that Shakespeare would use, but it also feels like a fucking like Photoshop word that they put in like 2024.
Sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You want to throw it on Shakespeare?
Yeah, I could put my money on Shakespeare for this one.
How much worse could we possibly do?
There are, I always think about the number of words that are just commonplace from like Photoshop being everywhere. This one is that gives a particular texture to something, especially that alters the texture of food, fabric, or hair to make it more appealing. Like, a texturizing spray.
Oh, I know.
That also comes to us. OED 2024.
I'll give Oxford that one. That one's fine to add in 2024.
Uh-huh.
Jacqueline and Emma, how about por favor?
I think we're going with Shakespeare, right?
I think we're going with Shakespeare.
Naturally, of course, right? Used in polite request or to add an emphasis or urgency to an entreaty. Please, for goodness sake, I beg of you. Por favor? Oxford English Dictionary, 2025.
2025?
I feel good about this round because all three of you.
Languages have borrowed words. I understand this.
The English just found out about Spanish.
That's the part that's making me upset. It's the fact that the English just found out about Spanish.
Yeah. Although if you think about it, the Oxford English Dictionary is trying to track the use of words in English to a degree. So this isn't por favor as used in Spanish. This is por favor as used in English.
Of course.
Which obviously, languages are silly and it's the imperial tongue, lean and lovely English, etc. But just fascinating stuff.
Fair enough.
PB and CJ, your word is tender stem.
Is this another plant?
That was my first thought, but I don't think so. In fact, this feels more like an insult about somebody's legs.
Legs?
That's what I would use it for.
Yeah, you're right. This is absolutely
Standing
Shakespeare.
on those tender stems.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely not about any other appendages.
What other part of you is a stem?
I can imagine.
Why don't you ask Shakespeare? He has lots of answers.
Yeah. You're going with Shakespeare? Yeah. I can imagine and we descend the axe upon his tender stem and his head, that it's like a neck thing.
I would buy that. That makes sense.
But naturally, it's a cultivated hybrid between broccoli and Chinese kale, which has a mild flavor and long, slender, relatively soft stems. Comes to us in the OED 2024.
Wait, that sounds
And
really
that
good,
one also
actually.
seems fair to go in
that sounds
2024, given
good.
that it sounds like new.
Maybe
Maybe it's from the 80s. I don't know.
they say it's great. Obviously, any of the brassica, broccoli stuff. There's so many great things to work with there. Shout out to having an air fryer makes broccoli even better. So this is going to be to Marn and Nessa. Your word is roguing.
So this feels Shakespeare to me. What do you think?
I will go with you on that one, especially because the last one wasn't Shakespeare and we boffed it. So,
does this show up in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or is it, I don't know, a Britishism for freelancing and business?
My thought was this is your D&D character trying to roll stealth to impress someone.
These roguing thieves serve the great pirate Valdez, and they have seized Marina. Let her go. There's no hope she will return.
Hell yeah.
That is a point for Marn and Nessa. Emma and Jacqueline, can you tell me whether the word bog standard appears in the complete works of William Shakespeare or has a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Hear me out, Jacqueline. I think
I'm
this
hearing
one
you.
might be new.
You think so? Shakespeare did a bog, but
True, but I think I don't know why I think this, actually. I can't explain why I think this, other than I feel like it's some sort of stupid computing term.
I'll support you. We can go new.
I think it's like a Linux thing.
A Linux thing, a bog standard. Does Shakespeare describe the witches in the Scottish play as bog standard? No. It's ordinary, basic, standard without extra features or modification, hence disparaging, unexceptional, or uninspired. Oxford English Dictionary 2002. As we
Wrong
say,
method, right answer.
weird old men we find in caves with poison fruit. Bog standard. I never knew that this was chiefly British, and I feel like how British people call toilet paper bog roll. I'm like, oh. Bog, okay, sure, I can kind of see. I don't know. It's such a fun phrase.
Yeah.
You did say Shakespeare, though, right?
No, we said...
Great, fantastic. That's a point for Emma and Jacqueline. Sorry, there are a lot of words here.
Understandable.
Okay.
I dare say there's words.
Yeah, there are words and even words. PB and CJ, can you tell me Pancreston? Does it appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel?
I would not have known
dictionary entry?
At a glance how to pronounce that. Which does make me think Shakespeare.
I've been holding the complete works of William Shakespeare the whole time. I haven't used it for any prop things. Just
So I feel like I feel like it's Shakespeare. I feel like we keep going Shakespeare. It's been letting us down in the back half of this game, but I feel like we gotta stick with it.
I mean, at worst, we get half the questions right? That's
Yeah.
respectable. That's math.
Say pussy. Math is fun and funny. Pancreston, a panacea, a universal medicine, comes to us in the OED in 2005.
We already had the word panacea. I would have known that word.
Only from Pathologic.
You know, in the like
I knew that word
the
from
alternate
earlier.
medicine circles, we need to constantly come up with new neologisms to describe each of our new panaceas.
I've read up on alchemy for fantasy things.
I would only know it from Pathologic.
Marn and Nessa, can you tell me, does the word rifle-toting appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or is there a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
I mean, there is the hyphen, Marn, but the hyphen has led people astray at least once.
Yeah, I mean, rifle toting feels like something he would use in one of his like military like the like king plays, right? But also,
I'll back
does
it up.
Have a new
I will-
21st century dictionary.
Sure. I'll remind Martin Nessa, just in case it is helpful for your thinking, that Shakespeare wrote between 1594 and 1616 for most of the works that we look at.
I know, but it could have had some nonsense old-timey word where back then it meant like a sword or something.
Sure. Naturally.
I mean, it
So we're
goes the
going-
other way in the Baz Luhrmann Romeo and Juliet.
A gun is a sword.
Gun
Of
is
course,
a
of course,
sword.
of course, of course.
You
So
still
in
feeling
Shakespeare?
it?
I'm now wondering if there's something that made it get updated in the 21st century, because it's definitely an adjective that I've heard people use before, which doesn't mean anything really.
Nessa, what's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is Shakespeare.
Okay, we could go. Let's go with Nessa's gut.
Okay.
Carrying or armed with a rifle, a type of gun usually fired from shoulder level, having a long barrel with a spirally grooved bore for greater accuracy over distance. I'm afraid the technique of rifling did not appear for a period after the death of William Shakespeare.
Romeo plus Juliet lied to me. They have hella guns in there.
I mean, yeah. Emma and Jacqueline, can you tell me, how about the word muck?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare?
Shakespeare. Also, my parents are playing along at home.
Yay.
Huh.
How are
Hopefully
they
they can
doing?
keep track of their own points, because I'm not
They
keeping
are.
track of theirs.
Don't worry. They said they're not doing as well.
As Beckett says in Waiting for Godot, the more I eat, the worse it gets. Oh, I'm the opposite. Is that the opposite? I get used to the muck as I go along. Our spoils he kicked at and looked upon things precious as they were, the common muck of the world. From Coriolanus.
Let's go.
Yay.
That's a point for Emma and Jacqueline. Our next word is for PB and CJ. That's Matt.
Let's see. Again, I can see it being in Shakespeare. I could also see it not. Like, we know the texture, that's older, but it could be because like computer graphics also will have things described as matte. I could see this sneakily coming in the 21st century
With a new definition.
with a new definition that's basically the same as the old definition.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
21st?
Century?
Let's do it.
Shakespeare.
21st.
A mask used to obscure the background of a
Yes.
scene so that a different background may be substituted. Oxford English Dictionary 2001. That's another point for PB and CJ. Martin and Nessa, how about riding rods?
This feels like either Shakespeare or like a bizarre equestrian thing.
Mm-hmm.
What
Want
do
to
you
go
think, Nessa?
equestrian?
I think it's Shakespeare. It feels
Okay, we're following your
Shakespearean.
gut. My gut was very wrong last time.
Shakespeare?
Yeah.
And if my legs were two such riding rods, my arms such eel-skin stuffed, my face so thin. From Pericles, that's a point for Marn
describe
and Nessa.
legs.
Uh-huh.
They
Shakespeare
just
does
weren't
describe
tender
legs.
stems.
It's
Uh-huh.
true.
I mean,
They're not.
Jacqueline, can you tell me about Ronyan?
I don't know that I can.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know that I can either, actually.
Or more specifically, does it appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Jacqueline, hear me out. The
I'm
last
hearing.
2 times you and I haven't recognized a word, it's been a 2025 dictionary definition.
Right. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Let's.
What if he's new?
He's new.
He's
Well,
new?
he's new.
Yeah, why
Okay.
not?
A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I, aroint thee which, the rump-fed Ronyon cries. First witch in, Emma, you said that your favorite play was...
I should have known that one. I said my favorite was A Comedy of Errors, first of all.
Oh, sure. Fair. Yes, very fair. I'm being silly. I'm not. We're all having fun here. The point of the game is that it is extremely silly.
Man, I can't believe that none of you knew what Ronyon was.
And we're going to jump, if it lets me jump, to the next segment, which is if your parents
Oh, good.
can choose whether or not to watch.
Finally. What
Our
do we start with
segment-
the horny section? That's my specialty.
Not safe for words. Okay. So, PB and CJ, can you tell me, does the word masturbating appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
I mean, he has to have used euphemisms for it at least 20 times, but would he actually use the word? Maybe someone like masturbating their ego?
I was gonna say, I bet he would, and I bet he would have used it in a non-sexual context.
Yes. So yeah,
Okay,
I think Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To stimulate manually for sexual pleasure.
Oh,
Also,
damn.
reflexive and figurative. Oxford English Dictionary, 2001. Martin Nessa,
2001.
your word is a spare prick.
This has gotta be Shakespeare.
I'll eat my hat if it's not Shakespeare and I'm not wearing a hat. Show me
Going
Shakespeare.
Show me Shakespeare. A person who's conspicuously, especially embarrassingly out of place in a particular situation. Someone idle, ineffectual, or superfluous. Oxford English Dictionary 2001. As in,
British.
a spare prick at a wedding.
2001.
Emma and Jacqueline, how about rutting?
I want to say Shakespeare.
I want to say Shakespeare.
I want to say Shakespeare.
I desperately want to
Despite-
say Shakespeare.
Despite the fact that the other two teams also said Shakespeare for their words.
Yeah, why not?
Despite the fact.
You're still going with it?
Maybe because of the fact.
Yeah,
Sure. I'll do anything now that is virtuous, but I am out of the road of rutting forever. From Pericles.
Yeah.
That's a point for Emma and Jacqueline.
Dad, you
PB and
can't just send emojis like that.
PB and CJ, can you tell me, how about the word chastity? Do you think it appears in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or do you think it might have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
I feel like usually the word is virtue.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I could see chastity being 21st century. I could see.
But are we just changing our minds from the meta because it didn't work last time?
Also,
I won't
if you
go
are
21st
children
century.
watching, please don't watch this segment. This is, I mean, this is true of all our stuff, but
This
So we're
is not
saying-
cow jump.
I mean,
Yeah, this is not-
no more raunchy than sitting down and reading the dictionary.
you know, that is a good point. Or reading the complete works of William Shakespeare. So we're saying novel dictionary entry?
Novel dictionary entry,
Yeah.
let's do it.
And when she weeps every little flower, lamenting some enforced chastity, tie up my love's tongue, bring him silently. From Pericles. Marn and Nessa, how about railing?
Oh, as a verb?
Mm-hmm.
Marn, I want to say 21st century.
I
Maybe
think-
this is a trick.
I want to say 21st century because I think Shakespeare would have exclusively used it as. Well, no, hold on. Like railing in the sense of like ranting and raving, though.
What do you
Like
think?
railing against someone. But when did it start being used as a sex word?
Uh-huh.
Doesn't
I'm
necessarily
overthinking
have to
it.
be the sex word.
I think I'm overthinking it. I think 21st century.
Yeah, I think we're
21st century?
show me 21st century. Damn it!
I was
Cheese
right.
says a tired horse, a railing wife, worse than a smoky house. I'd rather live with cheese and garlic in a windmill. Am I right, ladies? Henry IV, Part 1. Emma and Jacqueline, how about guying?
Dying.
Guying.
Show up in the complete works of William Shakespeare, or set up a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
Who up guying?
Who up guying? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
why not? What? Let's just say Shakespeare. Who up
Let's
guying?
say Shakespeare.
Dying is what they just did on Blurbo Builder, actually.
It's
Yes,
true. It's true.
I think because you can't use boy mode for the the things going on in 12th night. The action or process of fixing a part of a structure to a surface or the ground using one or several guy ropes, wires, rods, etc., in order to ensure that it is supported, stabilized, or secured in place. It's 2025. That's a point for Emma and Jacqueline.
It's
No.
not.
Oh,
No,
we
it's
said
not
Shakespeare.
160 slides
We're
in.
honest.
Doing our best. Thank you. So coming around to PB and CJ, does the word rimming appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a novel 21st century dictionary entry?
This is tough. Because again, it could be like a probably non-sexual use in Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm
Or-
leaning.
Or it could just be 21st century. How kinky was the dictionary getting?
What do you think?
Oh man,
I vote Shakespeare.
All right, I will trust my
Shakespeare?
co-host and say Shakespeare.
To stimulate the anus of a person with a tongue or mouth as a sexual act. Also, occasionally, intransitive. Oxford English Dictionary 2010. Marna, your word is marriage pleasures.
I was really hoping we were going to get Sanctorum.
What do you think?
I think this
I'm
is
leaning Shakespeare, but Marn, I will go
Shakespeare.
whichever way you want to go.
No, I think this is Shakespeare, or it's like a weird Britishism. But again,
Naturally, Shakespeare, the beauty of this sinful day, made many princes thither frame to seek her as a bedfellow, in marriage pleasures, playfellow. From Pericles, that's a point for Marn and Nessa.
Hey, why is Pericles so
was
horny?
pretty horny.
Yeah. Emma and Jacqueline, how about orgasmic?
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was
Shakespeare?
so orgasmic.
Very enjoyable or exciting.
Oh.
Oxford English Dictionary 2004. Isn't that fun? Seeing if we can get through all of them. I think we'll be perfectly on time. That comes back around to PB and CJ.
We have to get one of
How about
these.
fact?
I feel like this one has to be 21st century. I think you're messing with us here.
Oh, I was going to say Shakespeare.
Why do you think it's Shakespeare? What context would he use it? What would he say?
Because I can see him saying something about, oh, you fap your mouth so effortlessly, and having that be a double entendre because he loves those.
But I don't think that was a
Okay.
We'll
We'll go with
it has
yours.
to be 21st century.
21st century? Of course, I
Yeah.
did play a trick on you. I did not include the part of speech because, and being fap, sir, was, as they say, cashiered, and so conclusions passed the careers. Merry Wives of Windsor. It's an adjective.
I'm letting this down.
I love you.
Appears in the complete works of William Shakespeare. Marna Nissa, how about spit roast?
Marn. Marn.
yeah.
Shakespeare. Midsummer's Night.
I think Shakespeare.
And I specifically about roasting a hog, not about the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think this
To
is
have
the
a
same
hog
as
on-
railing.
On spit roast? British slang, to engage in the sexual practice of spit roasting with a woman, or occasionally a man. Oxford English
2010?
Dictionary.
2010?
How inclusive.
Wow.
Oxford Dictionary. When I catch you. When I catch you.
Emma and Jacqueline. Does the word unsex appear in the complete works of William Shakespeare? Or does it have a
this
novel
is-
21st century dictionary entry?
This is either going to be Shakespeare or it is going to be some TikTok bullshit, like Unalive.
It could be some like feminist sort of theory of like unsexing.
Mhm.
Emma, I'll say this. It's not a TikTok thing as far as I know.
Samantha
Honestly,
Beauvoir.
I'm leaning more towards Shakespeare.
Okay, you've only led me astray about half the time. Let's Shakespeare.
What context would it be used in Shakespeare?
I
I think I know this one.
You?
Mhm.
Ooh. I'm interested.
Unsex
wondering
her,
if
have at hand, something, something, something.
Well, I'm wondering if it's I'm trying to remember if it's something maybe with like as you like it.
Mhm.
I guess
Sure.
I could see it being used by Shakespeare as like a word for castration.
Yeah,
all
castration
good ideas here.
or like any of the weird gender swappy fun stuff going on.
So all of these are very close. It means a kind of different type of transition. Come, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here and fill me from the crown to the toe top, full of direst cruelty.
Yep.
Of course, from Lady Macbeth's
I knew
famous
that was Lady
monologue.
Macbeth.
Unsex
See, it
me
was
here.
feminist.
Got it, and I didn't have it memorized because they definitely cut that line from the production I was in as a 7th grader.
Really funny.
There's a lot of fun little monologues like this, much like Beatrice in Much Ado About Nothing. The "Oh God, were I that a man."
All
Okay,
right, I'm
so
glad
that's
we
gonna
got that, Jacqueline. We're in this. We're still in this.
PB and CJ.
The Little Death.
Yes, petite mort.
That's Shakespearean.
Yes, we can go Shakespeare. I will trust you here. I will trust you here.
He loves little deaths.
Okay.
This is going to be
An orgasm.
picking it
The
up as
sensation of
yeah.
orgasm likened to death.
I was going
That
to
is-
argue, but you sounded so confident.
Oxford English Dictionary 2005. And I think I have one more left for Martin and Ursa. Nope, I don't. Let's see who won.
I like that PB and CJ get a bonus question.
It's alright, we
We
missed
got it
missed
wrong
it, so
anyway,
it's
so
okay.
it all works out.
That's true.
Marn, technically, we're not in last place.
I have
That
no
is
idea
true.
what the scores are.
I do.
No.
So
not
our
listen to
scores are Marn and Nessa. Wait, I'm looking at the Twitch. Hopefully this is right. This looks like Marn and Nessa at 9, Jacqueline and Emma at 13, and PB and CJ at 13.
Yep.
Is this
Yeah.
a tie game?
So,
Wow.
technically, second place, which is still last, but second out of 3, which feels good.
That's
Yeah.
really funny.
Okay,
I
so
can't believe we
technically
completely fell apart in that last round.
we're gonna jump back here just to make sure that Marn, Nessa, and Emma, Jacqueline both have a chance.
Yeah,
So
if Emma and Jacqueline get this, they can win.
Yeah. Just to round things out, I didn't know where we jumped from back then, so that's why the numbers are a little bit funny. Marn and Nessa, your word is minor arcana.
Marn, what you leaning?
We have nothing to lose here, which is good. I'm gonna say Shakespeare.
Okay, show me Shakespeare.
Shakespeare? The 56 cards in a tarot pack as distinguished from the Trump's Oxford English Dictionary 2002.
2002?
Well,
Why?
you know what?
Who could
People
say
were
it's
getting
the
into
Oxford
tarot
English
around
Dictionary?
there.
It's not
Sure.
2001, so that's all that matters.
And finally, it's funny because it doesn't feel that climactic, but it's funny because we're ending on Petit More. But nevertheless, Emma and Jacqueline, for your last word, see whether you win. How about rustling?
I think it's Shakespeare.
I'm gonna say Shakespeare.
Feeling Shakespeare?
We also
Feeling
have nothing to
Shakespeare?
lose. Worst case, we tie.
Yeah.
Oh.
False of heart, light of ear, bloody of hand, hog and sloth, fox and stealth, wolf and greediness, dog and madness, lion and prey. Let not the creaking of shoes nor the rustling of silks betray thy poor heart to woman.
Let's
Oh.
go.
Let's
in
go,
the air.
women.
Let's go, women.
Which brings us back
go,
to
women.
our congratulations slide. Congratulations to Emma and Jacqueline. Congratulations to Dead Teen House Party. Congratulations also to the Gahooligans. Thank you all so much for playing. And congratulations to our viewers. Don't forget to donate to, let's take a look at our theme week for a moment. Let's see here. Oh, Monster Week looks like it's still just ahead of Princess by my count. It's all very exciting. Thanks for joining us here on the Moonaissance Faire on the Moonshot Network. We're going to say goodbye here. And the next block, I think we're all very excited for Hear Ye with Aaron Catano Saez. Good night, everyone.